Good one. Oh, today's video today. It's a subscriber replay sent in by Raptor Jesus, and well, let's hope this one works. Now, why do I say that? Well, every single time he sent me a replay, it's just completely fucked up because of my old graphics card. So let's hope. Well, obviously, I've got a brand new graphics card. If anyone's curious, if you didn't watch when I mentioned it in a news video, it's a 1660 Ti NVIDIA GeForce. So it's honestly been probably one of the best systems to have, and not only that, combine that with the 600 gig solid state drive, it's been fantastic. So Raptor is out and about in his German captured KV-1C756R. This one's just no normal KV-1, as pretty much everyone knows by now. This is a bit of an old legend of War Thunder, and it's still a bit of a legend because it's just that good, even though it's been obviously going up in the years and stuff. So obviously you can differ from the German or the Russian KV-1s by its turret. Obviously it's got a longer barrel gun. It's got the same gun as the later model Panzer IVs, and combine that with heavy tank levels of armor. I mean, look at the frontal armor. It's basically got the same frontal armor as a friggin' Tiger. The turret's not so much. Obviously you got to worry about the gun mantlet specifically, because you could easily punch through this with pretty much everything that you're going to see. And right behind that is the breach and the loader's face, and I'm sure he wouldn't want any anti-tank rounds in it. But obviously the hull is also 75, so you're going to notice Raptor angling a lot, because obviously the tracks can eat a shot, the side armor can just ricochet, and the MG port is quite trollish. But there is a lot of things that Raptor does wrong in this replay that I'm going to point out. And I don't mean wrong as in a bad way. I mean wrong as in like a tactical standpoint, shall we say. But I'm not going to rip him for it. I'm just going to point them out so maybe he can use them next time. But anyway, let's jump into the replay and let's get into the actual battle. Now, I will say this, I can only apologise for the sheer amount of the Christmas hangar that you're going to be seeing over the next few weeks. Just because I've got that much to get through, I'm using it. So, well, I'm using it till Gaijin switch it off, basically. So, and also I apologise for my voice. It's because I've not had a drink all morning, and well, I've been up about an hour, so I can only apologise for my throat. But don't worry, I'll be addressing that issue very shortly. So he's in his KV-1C and is on the Stalingrad map, probably one of my more favourite maps because of Joe's pile of shit. But obviously Raptor doesn't really know about that. He knows about its existence, but he doesn't use it. He's not a more patient player like me. He likes to go in and get brawling, and with this sort of thing you can. So I'm actually considering picking up this tank myself and going out and just clubbing in this thing, because I can make a KV-1 Zis 5 work against these things, so I'm fairly certain I can make a KV-1C work in the opposite fashion. I mean, that's because I know the weak spot of this thing, but not many people seem to. Now, for some reason, Raptor has a weird obsession of firing his coax, which, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but you'll see what I mean. He for some reason loves spraying his coax everywhere. Now, that can be good, but at the same time, A, that gives away your position, and B, if you need your coax to deal with a Russian milk truck, yeah, good luck. So I don't know what his weird obsession is. He's just got, like, he just loves spraying his coax pretty much everywhere. Which, if anything, that's just giving away your position, mate, so try not to do that. I mean, look, he actually stops to try and MG this wooden post here. Raptor, for the love of God, you need to learn to break this habit, dude. Because, I'm not being funny, right? Yes, your team's doing alright at A, but you're kind of needed. But this is where the enemy come to him. Two KV-1Ss, I believe they're on comms, who decided to join the party. Now, funnily enough, the KV-1S struggles to penetrate this tank, unless you hit the weak spot, which I've already shown. And, well, the 75mm gun on this thing is more than capable of dealing with a KV-1S. It's due to the trolley gun mantler of the KV-1S that, for some reason, Raptor's aiming for. He's struggling to pen the thing. But don't worry, he's going to make up for that in a moment. He's going to try and aim for the turret cheeks. But again, he aims a bit too far to the right, which means the additional plating, because obviously the welding, prevents that. He gets a very good shot there. He takes up the commander, the loader, and the driver, I believe that was. And obviously, now that he basically feels confident that he can move up on these guys, he's going to start moving up. And obviously, in a proper battle scenario, the KV-1S won't stand a chance unless you don't know about the weak spot. But, I mean, they're trying their best at least. First kill gets it right through the gun mantler on the move, which is pretty good shot that was, I will admit. But I'll point out where he makes this tactical mistake and what could have potentially cost his team dearly, let's just say. Second kill. That's the second KV-1S from earlier on. I have no idea who has just added me to my friends list on Steam, if you guys saw that, but I don't know who they are, so we'll just have to see, I guess. I'll probably look at that later. I don't even want to try and read that name, but even so. So Raptor takes a hit here, and he pretty much has no idea where it came from. Now, looking at the impact hole, you would think it came from the right-hand side. But luckily, a teammate in a Chinu 2 has basically just helped out Raptor. Fair enough, if it was only a KV-1L11, I would have to close to point-blank range to penetrate, or have a chance of penetrating Raptor's tank. And even then, you'd have to have the flat side of it. Raptor needs to work on his situational awareness. That's for definite. Because that could have gotten ugly. Makes another mistake here. Aims for a front plate of T-34. Should have gone for the turret. If you see an angle T-34, always go for the turret. Unless he decides to do that and present you his driver's hatch. In which case, he's the Muppet in this scenario. Third kill. However, this is where Raptor begins to make his tactical mistake, and it's after he kills this Sherman, which he makes a meal of. Trust me. I could make a 3-course meal by the time he's freaking killed this Sherman. First shot takes out the engine, and I believe that's the commander on that tank. But you can see he's not waiting for the smoke to clear, he's just blazing away, and that's costing him ammo. Again, that might bite you in the arse, but obviously not in this replay, luckily. And then here's another scenario. Obviously, he's driving forward. KV-1 fires, and he clearly saw where the shot came from, but he's looking round. He doesn't have a clue. And I'm thinking, when I actually first watched this replay, I'm like, Raptor is right in front of you, dude. And I was pretty much facepalming. And well, clearly that bush on the front of this thing doesn't add skill. It just adds blindness of batness. Like, jeez. I'm trying not to knock you here, Raptor, but come on, dude. You saw the shell come and hit your front. I think you need to go to Specsavers. That's probably going to end up being the title of this video. Raptor needs to go to Specsavers. Like, jeez. You need to go Specsavers, man. Look, T-34's just been right in front of him. He actually sees it this time. And of course, because he knows that he might not penetrate the frontal plate, depending on the thickness of the part that he hits, he decides to go for the smart way and go for the turret. So that's good. For 5th kill. And there's his ace for this replay. And here is where he's making his tactical mistake. Once again, bounced a shot from that Sherman, but that Chinu 2, who saved his life earlier, is down at the C point all on his own. We don't know if there's tanks down there. And Raptor's going for the spawn. And can I just point out that his friendlies are dying on the A point. He is needed elsewhere, and yet he's rushing for the spawn. This is like the replay that I did for James a while back when he bought the IS-6, because, well, he's a wallet warrior. And, yeah. I'm going to wait till this coax stops firing, I think. Now, obviously, the BTR has, luckily enough, armor to block most of the rounds from the coax machine gun at that range. But then Raptor just fires another shell, yet he knows it's not going to hit, and he knows it's not going to, well, it's going to hit that pile of crap there. As I always say, if you're going to jump in a tank like this, you need to be ready for it. And I just think, Raptor, I need to take you into a custom battle someday, mate, because you really need to learn some tricks. Well, the BTR, fair enough, he shot the wheel out on it, so the BTR could have technically drove off into the distance. Well, that's the heat round. That's just him not knowing about the heat round. That's a bit of a bug with the replay as well. The coax wasn't firing there, but he was firing his coax for his 7th kill. But again, his A's being captured at this point. His team needs him up there, and he's too busy spawn camping. I'm sorry, Raptor, I don't approve of this. I really don't approve of this. Your team needs you at the A point. And you're too busy spawn camping, mate. You really need to get up to the A point where a Sherman and a BT5 has basically just whooped your team's arse up there. Now, fair enough, there is another KV-1C coming up there. But, again, I wouldn't have even fired at that point. I'd have saved a shell. But, again, he's needed up at the A point, but he's too busy chasing this T-34 out of spawn, which, again, is the wrong move. And I'm trying not to rip into you here, Raptor, but I'm just pointing out the obvious. Like, if I was in your situation, I'd have gone to the A point, cleaned up that Sherman, cleaned up the BT, kept the point, so then you get more points and more spawn points eventually. And look, now B's being capped. So I'm sorry, Raptor, but this could have cost your team the victory. Luckily, the Sherman came to him, and he gets a lucky shot and a gun mantler, which I'm surprised that penned. And while the Sherman just sits there, doesn't even try to angle the armor, and that's Raptor's 8th. But I'm sorry, Raptor, but you needed to get up to the B point and the A point. And well, here's a truck. Takes it up for his 9th. But luckily, his team managed to deal with the. Well, his team managed to push up. Obviously, now that nothing's on the A point, so the Sherman came back to deal with Raptor, and obviously failed because of Raptor's lucky penetration. But again, he's just not helping his team by doing this. Yes, he's killing off the reinforcements, kill number 10, but he's close to death in a moment. You'll see what I mean. Kill number 11. Again, I'm surprised that pen, because normally Sherman front plates at that angle are actually pretty tough. But he's going to die in a well, he's going to nearly die in a moment. Because of this ASU-57, if it wasn't for a teammate in a 109 F4, he'd have been his bitch. I'm sorry, Raptor, but you'd have been this guy's bitch. Like, he had you. If he hadn't gone for that shot on the gun barrel and he'd have gone for the shot on the front area of the tank, you'd have been screwed, mate. I don't care what you say, you'd have been screwed. But at this point, the replay's pretty much over. Raptor bounced a shot from that M24, and that's pretty much the end of it. Like I said, Raptor, you really need to learn when to stay near the spawn and obviously not spawn camp, and when to help your team. Because if you look, C's even being capped, but now by that BT7, or sorry, BT5, you was needed elsewhere, mate. You had no reason to spawn camp. I'm just saying. Hopefully you won't take it the wrong way. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's replay by Raptor Jesus, and obviously, if you want to send me a replay yourself, please do. There will be a link, well, not a link, there'll be an email address in the description below that you can use to send your replays to. And well, let's hope that it's not filled with spawn camping, because, well, I did this, like, James had a replay in an IS6 where he did the exact same thing, and I basically ripped the piss out of him. So I'm doing the same. I'm not saying that people should spawn camp or shouldn't spawn camp, but there's a time and a place for that. But anyway, I'll see you all on the next one.